Have you ever suddenly felt like you've lived this moment before? A situation is happening right in front of you, and even though you're sure it's the first time you've seen it, you have this powerful feeling deep down that you've already been through it. This strange feeling isn't rare. Actually, millions of people all over the world have had the same experience. And scientists call this phenomenon déjà vu. But what's the secret behind it? And why does our brain trick us into feeling like time is repeating itself? Is déjà vu just a natural phenomenon or a sign of some medical condition? Just a heads up, before we get started, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you get all our new videos as soon as they drop. Most viewers watch our videos without hitting the like button. Please support us by liking and sharing this video. The word déjà vu is French and it means already seen. The name itself explains the nature of the phenomenon because it simply makes you feel like you're seeing a familiar scene. Scientists noticed that this phenomenon isn't as rare as some people think. Some estimates say that more than half the human population has experienced it at least once in their life. So if you look at the world's population, you'll find billions of people have shared this same experience. What's also interesting is that the phenomenon is linked to age. It's very rare for children under 8 to feel it. But with the start of adolescence, the feeling of déjà vu begins to gradually appear. And in your 20s, it's at its peak, and then it decreases as you get older, to the point that seniors in their 70s or 80s notice it almost completely disappears. This led researchers to connect the phenomenon with brain development. In childhood, the brain is still in its early stages. And in young adulthood, brain activity is at its highest. But with age, its activity gradually starts to decline, and the déjà vu also disappears. But the question on everyone's mind is, why do we experience déjà vu? Initially, some scientists linked this phenomenon to specific conditions like epilepsy. They noticed that people who suffer from epileptic seizures experience déjà vu more frequently. Also, some types of medication increase this feeling for their users. And even people who live under constant stress and anxiety are more likely to experience the phenomenon. But a logical question comes to mind here. What about normal people who don't have epilepsy, aren't on medication, and aren't living in constant anxiety? Why do they also feel déjà vu? The truth is, the phenomenon isn't just related to illness or medication. The topic is much more complicated than that. Scientists started looking for a deeper explanation inside the brain itself. One of the well-known theories says that the reason lies in something called dual processing. What happens is the brain stores events in two places: short-term memory and long-term memory. Sometimes there's a synchronization error between the two. The brain makes a mistake and registers the new event as if it were an old memory. And after a moment, it re-registers it again as if it just happened. This error makes a person feel like they've lived through the situation before. But the dual processing explanation isn't the only one. There's also a theory that talks about familiarity. The idea here is that the brain sometimes sees something new, but connects it to something old that's familiar to you. So, the new scene resembles a situation from a long time ago that's etched in your memory. Your brain connects the two and makes you feel like this moment has repeated itself. Even though what happened is very simple. A familiar shape brought back an old image from your memory. But what's surprising is that not all situations can be explained by familiarity. There are situations that are happening for the first time in your life, and yet you still feel déjà vu. Scientists believe these situations have another explanation. The topic here is related to the neural signals that are transmitted from the eyes to the brain. The eyes are supposed to send the same image to the brain at the same time. But sometimes a slight error happens. One eye sends the signal faster than the other. The brain receives the first image and then, a tiny moment later, the second image arrives. So the brain deals with the first one as if it were an old memory and the second one as if it's the current moment. This trick makes it feel like the scene has repeated itself. So you think you've lived the moment before, even though it's happening for the first time right now. This shows how sensitive the brain is to any difference in timing, even if it's just a fraction of a second. With all these strange explanations, scientists focused on a more important question. Is déjà vu a health risk or not? The answer, simply put, is no, it's not a disease. Déjà vu, in most cases, is just a natural phenomenon that happens to any normal person. You might experience it once or twice a month, or even every once in a long while, and the feeling disappears on its own without leaving any trace. But if this feeling becomes excessively frequent, or happens on a daily basis, then you have to take the matter seriously, because frequent repetition could be a sign of an error in brain activity. And in some rare cases, déjà vu is linked to disorders like epilepsy or issues with the temporal lobe. Scientists noticed that epilepsy patients sometimes feel déjà vu right before an epileptic seizure. This led doctors to study the relationship between the phenomenon and electrical activity in the brain. However, this doesn't deny that the majority of people who feel déjà vu are completely healthy. So, in short, the phenomenon isn't usually a cause for concern, but if it gets out of hand, you need to consult a specialist doctor. There are a lot of factors that make the déjà vu phenomenon happen more often or more clearly. The first factor is stress. When you're under a lot of pressure or your mind is busy with more than one thing at the same time, your brain might mix up the signals and create this feeling. Also, lack of sleep plays a very important role. The brain needs to rest so it can process information naturally. But when you stay up late or sleep for only a few hours, the brain gets confused when recording events. And that's when the feeling of déjà vu appears easily. There's also a factor related to technology. Excessive use of your phone before bed or sitting in front of screens for long periods affects the body's biological clock, which in turn affects brain activity and the way it stores memories. This makes the feeling of déjà vu appear more often. Also, traveling and moving from one place to another quickly can make this phenomenon happen. Because the brain is exposed to a huge amount of new information in a short time, and sometimes it can't keep up, so it gives you the feeling that you've seen this place before. And strangely, studies found that young adults are the group most susceptible to déjà vu, and the feeling gradually decreases with age. This suggests that the phenomenon is related to the speed of information processing in the brain, which is stronger in young people than in the end. Déjà vu isn't a terrifying mystery like many people imagine. It's just a sign that the brain sometimes tricks us and makes us believe we lived a moment before when it's just happening now. Science hasn't been able to provide one final explanation for the phenomenon, but what's for sure is that it's not a risk to our lives or a serious illness. It's just a minor glitch in the way our brain processes memories and information. This phenomenon reminds us how complex and mysterious the human mind is, and that there are still many secrets inside us that we need to understand. It's a strange, short moment, but it makes us ask ourselves, did we really live this scene before, or is it just our imagination? And with that, we've reached the end of today's video. Wait for us in other videos so we can discover more mysteries about the world around us. Share your opinion in the comments about what you liked most in today's topic, and if you have strange topics or historical secrets you want us to talk about, write them in the comments. And if you're still new to the channel, check out our old videos, you'll find a lot of topics you'll like. And don't forget to support us with a like and share the video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.